welcome to Brother Earth Healing. This is our fourth episode of the week. Fire signs, fire energy, reading in, offering messages for healing and support. Yeah, I actually tried to record this video a little bit earlier today, and it was a little bit hectic and needed a little bit more space. I feel like that's been what's coming through in general for this group this month. So I'm gonna get into it. Just wanted to let you guys know a little bit briefly about the schedule if you haven't been tuning into the other episodes yet. Today, so I'm gonna be offering a bit of a monthly forecast reading into the month. So it'll be 4 videos, one for each sign in the beginning of the month. So Tuesdays will be for air signs, Wednesdays will be for water signs, water energy, Thursdays will be for going over earth, and then Fridays fire. So that's a bit of a schedule for these things, and then again for the end of the month it'll be the same schedule. And so yeah, just very happy to be able to offer this, and thank you so much for tuning in, I guess. Just gonna start with a little bit of gratitude, offering some gratitude, offering some thanks. I just like to tune in, tap in, and offer deep gratitude and thanks for our beautiful Mother Earth, for our ancestors, both spiritual ancestors as well as our blood ancestry, and just recognizing all the support, all the everything that's been passed down. And just tapping into that gratitude for a second. I like to ask for support in offering clear, accurate messages of support, of healing, of love for all those tuning in, and for myself as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a couple of breaths with you guys, just taking a couple of breaths to settle in. Really putting down for a moment what might be keeping you preoccupied in the mind, in the emotions. Really allowing your breath to guide you, to settle you. Coming back to yourself, coming back to your body. We'll have one more. Opening up to receive whatever's coming through. We will get started. So, I did do a little bit of a sit twice before doing this recording. Pull from here a little bit. Yeah, I felt like a lot of hecticness, a lot of hectic energy. I felt a lot of confusion, a lot of lack of fire for some of our fire signs too. I felt one group strongly. I was feeling that. And we got some stuff coming out. All right. Okay. So I feel like there's something about wanting to come into like a established, solid, happy place in our life, maybe settling down for some. It might look different, will look different for everyone, right? So there's this kind of energy going towards that goal. There's this feeling of wanting that really strongly. And I feel like it's almost as if it's in a challenge kind of position, like that's what the challenge is how that's I'm reading that. I feel like there's been a recognition of maybe others offering support, or and there's been like a kind of pushing away, or a denial, or like a stubbornness of accepting help and accepting support. I can do it on my own. That's what I'm hearing. I think the message that wants to come through is like it takes a community, you know, it takes a village, sort of that feeling, right? And I feel like there's a reason why for maybe this person or this group that there's some internal work to be done around that, particularly with what I'm feeling is like not having a feeling of sense of belonging, and having a difficult time with that. I'm feeling like family issues revolving around that for one or for some. Okay. Tapping into Page of Wands. This is Wands does represent fire signs, fire energy, and so I'm feeling, I feel like I'm tapping into a younger group, a younger crowd. It's a very like a tinge of naivety, or a little tinge of this youthfulness, this sort of still coming into themselves is what I'm feeling. Seeing opportunities though. Yeah, really recognizing in a place that's very like they themselves are in a place that's they feel like they can really thrive, have a lot of nourishment. I'm feeling that's not necessarily from others or from community, but from environment. Could be school or their physical environment. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I'm feeling the confusion that I was feeling earlier is coming from a sense of difficulty discerning in a general way. And I feel like that could also be difficulty discerning their own path. I feel like this kind of thinking for some is really driven by a financial stability kind of point of view. And I feel like that's okay for whoever I'm tapping into, whatever group I'm tapping into there. I feel like that's okay. But there's certainly the advice to like to always remember, you know, like first and foremost, you know, having stability won't make you like happy, like won't make you completely like, yeah. The inner sense of fulfillment and sense of duty. I don't normally use that word, duty. That's when I know I'm getting things coming through accurately. It's when words come through and pop into my head that aren't, I would never use. So a sense of duty, right? And to tap into that as a way to unlock, reveal, right? To reveal the path that will bring you that stability, because I feel like there's a subconscious sense and knowing that having like that internal stability and freedom and contentedness and joy and direction, clarity, is really is really what you're after, is what I'm feeling, even if that might not be yeah, even if that might be kind of more subconscious. Don't be fooled by shiny things. There might be some material things. Yeah, well, a little bit of like a consumption thing for sure. Yeah. Okay. Kind of just going around here. Let me see. I'm going to read this way, actually. Okay. So I feel like there's what's going on for a lot of people is a big transition, an internal transition and transformation. This is really, really interesting. So where people might on the outside be looking at this person or at you, you know, and really truly see the transformation. I think that many are in a state, in a phase right now where they're very caught in the drama of the being confused, being unsure, you know, just starting to come into themselves, where it's very difficult to see their own growth. It's difficult for them to see that what this process is truly bringing and the fruit it's truly bearing. And I think that there's a lot of fear behind that and wanting the best for themselves and wanting that to truly happen. And it's like, it is happening, you know, it's just sometimes kind of hard to see, especially when you're kind of caught in the middle of it, or your perception is, you know, narrowed by the experience. And so there's an invitation to really open up, right? To really open that up, open up the way that you perceive, you know, yourself, your life, things around you. Because there's a little bit of a tunnel vision going on, and asking for others' help. And I think that's part of, like, you know, what we were first touching on. I think that's part of this also sense of maybe in the past or maybe currently for some, like this rejecting of help, of support, right? And maybe it's the case that in the past it didn't exactly feel right or whatever, if that resonates with you. And that's okay, you know, just you can let those kinds of things go. But I certainly feel that now, or maybe in the recent past, there's been some really, really good people, or, you know, whatever, what is really, really good support, really solid, really caring. The most caring, one of the most caring. Yeah, and that there's really, you should maybe take a second look. Some things that you didn't think were some doorways, some opportunities, or some support or help or people that maybe didn't resonate initially, something like that. Take a second look. Okay. And so I think that there's what wants to be shared, what wants to come through is not necessarily like a little glimpse into the future. Like I don't really, I really don't do too much of that unless I'm actually doing an actual channeling session. but there's a sense of wanting to offer a view, a broader view of the situation, of your situation. And I feel it's just all good things, really good things. Got 10 of Pentacles. Happy, secure family lineage, family lineage, familial lineage. I'm also getting spiritual lineage and heritage really strongly. And part of the process that, I believe that you're going through is one of coming back to that as well, coming back and digging and looking inside of yourself to reveal your own spiritual and ancestral blood, heritage, and uncover all the beautiful, gifts and all the beautiful things that have been passed along. I'm feeling a lot of good feelings, a lot of yeah, like treasures, like real, true wisdom, strength, the cutting through the patterning, our mental patterning, our emotional patterning, really cutting through that, going down this path of rediscovery or discovery. Yeah, gems, precious gems of teaching, of wisdom, of truth, of of good feelings, like just that feeling of, like when you're with family and there's so much love, so much love. And yeah, wow. And so I feel like in part, that's part of the antidote to the situation, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling, this or that. And and then like the first card I showed you guys, like that came out on the bottom of the deck, the general feeling is wanting to go towards this, right? Wanting to go towards this solid, happy, together place in your life. And then the other is a star, Yeah, I'm like immediately hearing like dreams coming true, which is not something I always get. I know that a lot of people, particularly a lot of like tarot readers, tend to like kind of immediately go for that when they see this card, and that's just not how I read. I take everything intuitively. Like every card will come through differently for me pretty much every time. But I do feel that there's a sense of like what you're seeking, what you're wanting, through the process that you're going through. And this is kind of what we were touching on too, is like, yeah, like having a little bit more trust and faith in that. And I think that I feel like you're finding that by, tuning into, this, like to this session and like other things, this looking for those, little pieces of the puzzle to help guide your way. Like I definitely feel that. And I feel like going deeper into that, right? Going deeper into those places where you do feel like a lot of support and everything is also a big, part, big key. Like pouring the water back into the well, Yeah, it's recognition of, being grateful for what you've been given, what you've, everything that's been shared with you, wanting to kind of give back, right? So pay it forward, right? So I'm also feeling a lot of guidance, like seen and unseen guidance for sure. but more of a leave that alone, actually. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. I'm going to pull some more cards. So we have some juicy stuff already. I kind of want to look into, like, in the 3D, what's going on. Like what's going on for you in this 3D outside reality we are sharing. And if there's anything to pay attention to this month, or like anything that wants to really come through here. Okay, I'm gonna take these upright, actually. This one's to be in the middle there. Well, everything came out in the reverse. Okay, so I need to, how can I read this? Okay. I feel like you might have like a lot of close relationships with water signs, intuitive people, or whether or not they know that or not, or you know that for that matter. And then there's some people in your life that are really, one person in particular that's really like a rock for you, or you've always seen and felt that person as a rock. And I think there's a potential for more of a intimate sort of mentorship kind of thing. You know, somebody older and wise, and I'm definitely getting a sense of might not necessarily be familial, but it might definitely be someone who you see as like someone who's maybe like a spiritual leader, you know, like maybe a priest or something like that, or a monk or something like that. And I think there's a feeling of not wanting to like burden that person with whatever you are coming with. But truly, and having been in that, being in that position myself for many, I feel like for me, it's always like, if I can, you know, any opportunity I have to like help and support someone on their path and offer something that I've gone through that might help, and just being there to, you know, and knowing so that that person knows that there's someone there for them that really truly cares, and wants to support and also and values that relationship. I think it's a really there's no, for me, no thought in my head, even if I'm busy and someone comes to me, there's no thought in my head like, oh, I wish this person wouldn't like call me so much, or, you know, text me so much or whatever. There's never any of that. So I would kind of put down those reservations, because I think if someone does kind of tend to have that quality, or you have that feeling or vibe, then yeah, it might not be, it just might not be the right person, might not be the right, they might not have the space, which is fine. But I do feel like there's someone with that space, with that, with a whole lot of clarity and wisdom, and very, very grounded is what I feel. And that it's safe to go towards that. It's safe to go towards them. Okay. I feel like an obstacle to that, or in general, in the 3D space for you, is like, in your life, is like, there's a feeling of like having retreated and put walls up. I think this is for a small group, or maybe one person. Having been dismissed, or even feeling of betrayal in the past. That's what I'm getting. Can I want a little bit more clarity on that. getting some random stuff. Something about berries. Maybe you work on a farm or something? I don't know. It's weird. And I was also getting something come through that came through my air reading. I think it was the first reading we did. That was about one of the last sets of, the last little spread I did before we closed was one of the things that came through really strongly was somebody in a political position who would definitely be like someone who holds a key to answering a lot of the questions, or to responding to a lot of the issues that we're facing in a really positive way, and someone to really trust. A woman, I was getting Barbara, Santa Barbara, something like that. That also came up all of a sudden. Here's the card I'm on right now. Okay. Putting walls up. May have been a little bit too close. I'm still working on this, guys. Sorry. Maybe that's a little bit better. All right. Okay. So I got, these two guys came out. Okay, relating to Nine of Wands. Okay, I need to read the rest so I can get the rest of the pieces of the puzzle. Of course, it's coming out. Okay, so this is an arc here. Okay, oh, I see I see how you want me to read this. Okay. So there's these walls up, feeling of retreat, but kind of looking back and recognizing that there's a bit of like a something missing. There's a bit of something you don't want to lose, something you don't want to abandon. It could be something for yourself, in yourself, not wanting to abandon yourself, or your being there for yourself, taking care of yourself. Feeling of that there was something thrown out with the bath, sort of thrown out with the bath water with that, in that sense. And so this is coming back in retrieval, and like a really, really nice feelings of like, okay, this is the right way to do it. Like I'm finding out the right way to do it, finding that balance. But there's still this really lingering fear, because I feel like there was a feeling of really being defeated and really having been in whatever situation this is, really being manipulated is what I heard. I might have to do it with somebody else. Yeah. Definitely feel a relationship. Not necessarily romantic, but a relationship. An important relationship. I think there's an invitation to come back to your own roots. Again, I'm getting that really strongly. Coming back to your own roots, coming back to your ancestry, your heritage, spiritual stuff, your spiritual heritage, coming back to that. That is your key. That is your key, right? And I think that is through this person. I really feel that strongly, that there is some kind of, I'm getting this, Rabbi, I'm feeling more of like a Jewish kind of ancestry coming around. Maybe that's for one particular person. And I feel like there's this feeling of, I also think that there's another situation along with that, maybe a rabbi or something, where the congregation or something like that really turned you off, or you felt very betrayed or something with that, and not losing your sense of belonging in your own ancestry, your own heritage, because a few people were acting weird or whatever, or because that particular group or that particular group, you know what I mean? Okay. And so I'm really feeling a rebirth. I'm feeling a fear with that rebirth too. Yeah, I feel like a lot of wounding for sure. And I think that there's this general message of it's going to be fine. It truly is going to be fine. And it's like, as soon as you can get over the fear of this opening back up, being willing to be a little bit more vulnerable, but also being aware of like what spaces you allow yourself to be vulnerable in, what ways do you allow yourself to be vulnerable, and making sure that you create your own container so that you can feel safe while you begin to open and become more vulnerable, and surround yourself with those people that make you feel safe as well. Right? Okay. I feel like there's a little bit more with this. I did get Death card. Okay. I'm feeling that this is relating, yeah. I mean, they're right next to each other too. The High Priest, Hierophant, in traditional tarot. It's funny, Sage. So the herb. This is my herbal tarot deck. So the High Priest was the herb is sage, right? And then with Death, the herb is elderflowers. Coming back to people that you trust, to elders, seeking elders. Yeah, I think that's really important. Yeah. I think that there's a sense of also wanting to carry on, right? Carry on your lineage, your spiritual, you carry on your heritage, right? Yeah, I'm getting indigenous, feeling of indigenous traditions as well. Yeah. I think there's a tendency for whoever I'm tapping in with now that to be a little bit very, very kind of stoic, a little serious about all this. And so it's like, okay, add a little bit of lightness, it's okay. Yeah. And don't worry about those that are kind of not, able to meet you where you're at, or just not able to accept, I'm going to pull some oracle cards now. And we'll get into a few closing messages. That was really, really great. I love to see that. I really, really, and all of these, particularly the last two readings I've done with earth signs, earth energy folks, and fire folks. It's really, yeah, a lot of really beautiful transformation and opening up happening. Really doing the work. I feel like with fire signs, it's like can be easy to like burn through things, but it's also like bit of wildfire, right? Like sometimes you do burn up some stuff that you're like, oops. You look back and you're kind of like, yeah. Just come back. It's like I reshoveled the whole thing, and then it just comes back to the Eight of Wands, which is what I had at the center of that last spread there. Okay. I think that for some it's not as easy to tap into their own intuition, their own intuitive stuff, and I think finding people that you trust to help you and to guide you to deliver those messages and to offer support, like what I'm doing now, is really very valuable as you learn to tap in as well. Asking for support and guidance if you feel called in that direction, on that path. I'm going to take these as well. Oh, beautiful. Wow. So, yes, here, see from a higher perspective, eagle. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was touching on initially, is like this real need to see the whole picture, like really kind of zoom out a little bit. I definitely was feeling this bit of a tunnel vision, particularly in the beginning. A lot more opened up now. For those of you tapping in that resonate with that. Yeah. And I think that, okay, so I think that that is why, I think that that's why these both came out. Okay, see from a higher perspective by taking note of intuitive messages. Yeah, I think really trusting whoever you're tapping into, whoever you're resonating with. If you watch tarot videos or have people around you that can read for you, things like that. Yeah, I think that that's an important part of the journey for you right now. And then direction, right? This is kind of what I was feeling earlier too, this kind of lack of direction, this difficulty seeing the path for yourself right now. And the thing is that we're always on our path. Like and I have this written on my board, is like, you know, every moment your life's purpose is being fulfilled. I got that so strongly, like sometime last year. Every moment your life's purpose is being fulfilled. Every moment presents us with an opportunity to, you know, choose again and again. Every day, choose your direction. Every day, choose your path, you know. Make those decisions every day. Recommitting, right? Every day. And when I get these guardian cards, so this is a, you know, direction guardian, I definitely feel like there's that support, unseen support. I'll clarify that. Okay. It's funny, whoever I'm tapping into, and maybe it's a group, I feel like there's some guides with some kind of higher guides looking after them, and kind of like there hasn't been a real asking to connect, and so there hasn't been as much of that connection, but they're certainly ready, like really, like they're on the bleachers, like ready to help in a more involved way. So if you resonate with that, what I like to do is really powerful, is really asking for support out loud, asking to connect, asking for support specifically in the areas that you want it, if that calls to you. And I certainly feel particularly with the direction that's there. They're right there. So I have also here a protection guardian. It says drop your shields, I think, right? Yeah. And so I think this is, for me, what's coming through really strongly with this is like, yeah, how we were sharing earlier about this kind of wounding, this sort of having these walls up, and then kind of looking back and being like, you know, maybe I missed something, maybe I left something back there, and a little bit fearful about being vulnerable, going back maybe to your spiritual roots, whatever. I think that there's support in dropping those shields. There's support with being vulnerable, and again, asking and having that intention, putting that out there. I want support with whatever, with, you know, I want to be able to be a little bit more vulnerable, and I'd like some safety and protection around that, so I can feel more safe to do so. Okay. And then I'll share this too. I think this is one that came out for, I think it was water signs or earth signs. Yeah, but this is beautiful too. I love this card. We all have this magic within us, all very unique. I think maybe one more, just one other thing that wants to come out. Stay strong, be strong. There's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff right now, and it's rough. And I was feeling a lot of loss in our last reading. Feeling a lot of loss. Yeah, so for some, I feel like this is truly what we're growing into. Really growing into this, you know, being the light for others, for yourself. Just really embodying that light. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Recognizing yourself, real, like, again, like this, you know, again, seeing from a higher perspective, seeing in a more broad way. What, you know, where are you in your life? What have you done? Having that recognition, that broad, clear seeing, right? Yeah, so I think we'll stop here. Thank you so much again for tuning in and joining. And I deeply hope that this was very helpful and supportive for you. It's what I'm here for. I am here for you. And if you are interested in kind of going a little bit deeper, or yeah, I want to connect, feel free to like message me or whatever. I'm very, very open, and I'm not going to like nickel and dime anyone here. So although I do offer like, you know, private, like one-on-one sessions too, and I do healing work, and, you know, I've been, you know, a meditation Qigong teacher for quite a while as well. So yeah, if you're called, feel free to reach out, say hi, or I'd be happy to support you however I can as well. Yeah, so thank you again, and many blessings to you. Thank you.